I know, it sounds weird, but despite what we feel and despite what your uncle and cousin might say, iPhones in fact keep getting cheaper and cheaper. So this is me doing the 50th video about phone economics, but it is really important for me to sort of debunk this whole myth of everything keep getting more expensive. So let me show you. The first one here is really straightforward. It is the absolute price of the base iPhone adjusted for inflation. You see it here in the yellow curve. The white curve would then be the nominal price, so not adjusted for inflation. And when we look at the yellow line here, we see the last 10 years beginning with the iPhone 6s all the way up until now to the iPhone 17. And we do see a clear trend downwards. And that's because, of course, the $649 the 6s costed back in the day now equal a value of around $890 after 10 years of inflation. Even more striking, for example, is the iPhone 12, which cost the exact same $799 back in 2020 as costs the new 17 now. Hence, adjusted for inflation, the price clearly went down. Now, I hear you saying, yeah, well, but incomes didn't rise as much as inflation and so on. Well, yeah, I mean, I certainly don't have the most detailed numbers here, but here's a quick and dirty comparison of the US median income over the last 10 years and each year's iPhone launch price. And surprise, surprise, that graph is also pointing down. That means that over the last decade, the average American household has been able to afford an iPhone more and more easily over time. Okay, but what about the rest of the world? There's this famous annual iPhone index that is published by Bicody.com, where they essentially calculate how many days an average person in a certain country has to work to afford an iPhone. And when looking at the 2020 data, they do that for the iPhone 12 Pro. And let's just look at India, for example, with 54 days, or my home country, Austria, with around 11 days. Now, compare that to the 2024 data, and we have India with 47 days and Austria with 10 days. So again, clearly pointing down. And don't get confused with these other countries here on top, as they were not part of the chart in 2020. Of course, these calculations are not really scientific and have probably more to do with specific economic situations in all these different countries. But nevertheless, they at least show a trend, and this trend clearly says that the iPhone is not getting more expensive, but very much the other way around. Okay, so now that we looked at the hard facts, we also have to talk about value. Not only did iPhones get cheaper, they of course also get massively better at the same time. I mean, just look at this comparison of performance to price, again adjusted for inflation, over the last 10 years, or battery life. The thing is, you could obviously look at many different metrics that would all look similar. Now, to some degree, this is to be expected due to technological progress and, parts getting cheaper to manufacture as smartphone tech has matured. But that should certainly not diminish the incredible increase of pure value we experienced over the past decade. Beyond benchmarks and raw numbers, think for a minute about how many people you know that don't have regular computers anymore. I know quite a lot actually that, do everything on their iPhone or any other smartphone for that matter. Media consumption, photography, navigation, portable gaming, office work, research, reading books, making video calls, content creation, programming, the list goes on and on. Modern smartphones have indeed replaced and still keep on replacing a myriad of products people used to buy separately and paid a lot more money altogether. I made a whole video specifically about this topic, how smartphones are indeed the bargains of the decade. The link is up here if you're interested. So then, what is the bottom line of all this? A lot of things really have become more expensive over time, but iPhones or phones in general certainly have not. And I do think that while a lot of criticism towards corporate greed, complaining due to increasing living costs and all of that absolutely is warranted, I also think that we should maybe take a step back and appreciate a bit more how far technology has come and how we can buy an iPhone today for less money than 10 years ago, while at the same time being probably a 2 or 3 times better product. Alright, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed that short video. If so, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Have a great day, guys. Cheers.